Okay, yeah. So same process in a reverse way is the shutdown process. Now, so obviously I'm going to write down here database is open. Then database goes to the mount phase, and database goes to the no mount phase, and then shutdown. So open to mount to no mount to shutdown. This is the shutdown process. How is the shutdown done? By firing the command shut down. Shut down. So when the database is open, it means what? It means users can connect to the database, and they can do the SQL statement, queries, insert, update, deletes, and all that stuff. So that is when database instance is running and database is open. Now, while shutting it down, we fire the shutdown command. There are multiple options to the shutdown command. There are multiple options to the startup command also, which we have not seen, but I will discuss them now. Let us say you type the command shutdown, and at this time there are 10 users connected to your database. They are just connected, they have not done any commit or uncommit anything, they are just connected. So shutdown process will not even shut down the database. It will just keep on waiting until all those users type the exit command and they log out of their SQL Plus sessions or log out of their Toad or any other sessions. So until and unless that happens, your shutdown command will not come from open to shutdown. So this is one thing to understand. Many people have said, my shutdown command doesn't work, and it will not work for hours because people are connected. Even one user is connected, your shutdown command will not work. So therefore, what is the option now? Then you have a little better option. You say shutdown transactional. Okay, so this is an option for the shutdown command. What will happen?
What will fill the transaction of the particular user?
So let us say there are 10 users connected to your database. Out of those 10 users, 8 users are just waiting to type something. They are not doing anything. They are not in the middle of a transaction. That means, what is the meaning of the middle of the transaction? That means they have not updated one row or deleted a couple of rows, and they are waiting to either fire the shutdown or the commit or the rollback command. That is what I mean by in the middle of a transaction. You haven't finished your transaction by typing the shutdown or commit command. So out of those 10 users, 8 of them are just sitting idle. They are not in the middle of the transaction, but the 2 users are in the middle of a transactions. So what will this command do? Shutdown transactional command will wait for those 2 users. It will pretty much kick out the remaining 8. Those 8 users will not be able to do anything. From that point onward, their connections will be kind of disconnected. And these remaining 2 users, because they are in the middle of their transactions, they have updated 2 rows, but they have not done a commit yet. Oracle will wait for them until they type the commit or the rollback command. That means until they finish their transaction. So when will they finish their transaction? God knows. If they take 2 days to finish their transaction, your again shutdown transactional command will not work. That means it will wait. So this is a little better option. It will allow those or not allow those 8 users to do any new work, but it will wait for those 2 existing users which are in the middle of a transaction. But now you are an impatient DBA, you don't want anybody, and because of that, again database will not shut down. Huh? So now the next thing you fire is shutdown immediate. Shutdown immediate command means what? Out of all those 10 users, 8 were not doing anything, they will definitely be disconnected. And then the remaining 2 users, they were in the middle of a transaction, they had deleted 2 rows, let us say. So what Oracle is going to do? Oracle will actually roll back their transactions. That means whatever 2 rows were deleted by those 2 transactions, they will be copied back to the original data file from the undo. Obviously rollback is done from undo, and then those will be also disconnected. So all those 10 users will not be able to perform anything, and obviously no new users are also allowed, and then the database will kind of come from shutdown to no mount to mount to to open, from open to mount, mount to no mount, and no mount to shutdown process, and final database will shut down. So these are the three options, two options to the shutdown command that we should kind of memorize. There is another option here which is rarely used, but we should know that: shutdown force. What is the meaning of shutdown force? Shutdown force is, this is a nice way of shutting down. That means you are allowing everybody to finish their work. If somebody is in the middle of a transaction, you are waiting for them. This is also a good thing. You are rolling back the transactions that they have done. So basically, from the data point of view, all these three things are very good. You are making your data what is called as consistent data. That means it is not kind of halfway in the middle of a transaction. Whatever is finished is accepted, whatever is not finished is not accepted. So this is what is achieved by all of these three commands. But shutdown force is a little different thing. Shutdown force means that moment you just crash your entire instance. It is as good as crashing the entire instance. It is as good as unplugging the power cord. That means what will happen? This is a very important discussion here. What will happen? Any data which is committed inside the buffer cache will not be written to the hard disk, because it will not even get any time. And any data which is committed, written inside dirty blocks which are inside the buffer cache will not be written to the hard disk. So that will happen, and that happens when we do a shutdown force, which is a bad thing to happen. When the database shuts down, it should shut down gracefully. It should save all the information from the memory into buffer cache and then shut down. That shutdown is achieved by these three things. And what is this? No memory is saved to the hard disk, and suddenly data information is lost. Does that mean it is really lost?
Not lost.
It is not lost, because it is written, the redo vector is written to the redo file whenever the transaction is committed. So the data, dirty data, may not be written to the data file, but the corresponding committed transaction is definitely written to the redo file. So data may not be written, but redo is definitely on the disk. And therefore, during the startup command, next time when we do a startup command, Oracle will realize that database was not shut down properly, and therefore it will do what is called as an instance recovery. And we'll talk about instance recovery during the backup recovery again. But that is when data will be again brought back. So this is the shutdown process, and this is the startup process in an exact reverse way. Now this process that I mentioned here up till this point, the process of writing things from memory to, that means buffer cache and everything, into the disk, that process in a layman's term we call as a checkpoint process. Checkpoint means what? What is a checkpoint? Checkpoint means it's a phenomenon. It's some kind of a process where information, dirty blocks in the buffer cache, they are written down to the disk. That means we are saving the data properly. That is what a checkpoint is. So checkpoint happens when we do a shutdown of the database, when we do a shutdown transactional, when we do a shutdown immediate. Checkpoint does not happen during the shutdown force. So checkpoint, in a layman's term, checkpoint is saving data from memory to disk. We'll talk more about checkpoint also a little later. But yes, checkpoint means saving data from memory to disk. That means dirty blocks from buffer cache are written to the disk. Okay, startup no mount is a command which will take you from the bottommost floor to the first floor. Only that much. Okay, startup no mount. Then once you are on this first floor, is there any way to go to the next floor? Yes, alter database mount. or alter database open. Open will take you all the way to the top level. Why are these commands essential? These commands are essential. I will give you a scenario that, let us say you have lost one of the control files. If you have lost one of the control files, you cannot go to this phase, you cannot go to the second floor. You have to come and do certain kind of recovery activities while you are at this level. While you are at the first level, you have to construct the second floor. So that is why you need to know how to get to the only first level, how to get to the no mount level. And then if one of your data files is missing, you can say startup, you can say startup mount also. Startup mount will take you directly from here to here. So your database is in a mount phase, and from there you can fire the command alter database open, which will take you to the third phase. So these are kind of important commands that we need to memorize, because we will be using them heavily during the backup and recovery process. Obviously, I mean, what is the backup recovery process? Backup recovery process scenarios are very simple. You have lost your SP file. What to do? You know that even though my data files and my control files, my second floor and my third floor and second floor, everything is intact, my first floor, the way to go to the first floor is gone. So I need to reconstruct the SP file and all that stuff. So those are the things that you need to kind of understand. So this is the instance startup and shutdown process. Should be all these commands should be kind of memorized.